The city's top prestigious family has been cursed with a lineage that only produces sons for generations. The baby girl they have prayed for throughout the ages never arrived until today, when a little girl showed up at their doorstep calling for her father. It all started when this little girl touched the forehead of a man lying paralyzed in bed. He immediately opened his eyes, only to find her doodling all over his face with a pen. Old Mr. Liu, standing nearby, wasn't angry. Instead, he joined in, asking the girl to draw on him too. But who could have guessed that only half an hour ago this child was happily playing hide and seek with her mother in the clinic downstairs. Terrified of getting a vaccination, she had accidentally wandered into the most heavily guarded VIP hospital room in the city. Liu Chinviet, the CEO of the Liu Group, had been in a vegetative state for 2 months. His father, Liu Jianguo, stood by the bed, his hair turning white with worry. At that moment, a chubby little head peeked through the gap in the door. The girl was only 2.5 years old, with rosy cheeks like freshly ripened peaches. Wiggling her little bottom, she struggled to climb onto the chair next to the hospital bed. She reached out for the man on the bed, but her legs were too short. Her little rear hung in midair, wobbling precariously. Just as she slipped, a pair of large, steady hands caught her. La Cibao, looking up with big, round eyes, blinking at her savior, her innocent voice sounding sweet. "Thank you, Grandpa." Liu Jianguo's heart melted instantly at that sweet voice. Liu Jianguo, with a tender gaze, gently lifting her into his arms. "Whose child are you? How did you get in here? Where are your parents?" La Cibao, pouting, her brows furrowed in grievance as she pointed toward her bottom. "Mommy hit me. Ouchie. I ran." The old man had no way of knowing she was actually hiding from a shot. Liu Jianguo, glaring, his face immediately clouding with anger as he hugged her tight. "What? Who would dare abuse such an adorable child? This is outrageous." In a clinic downstairs, Duong Ai and Nen had no idea her little daughter was currently framing her for child abuse. Meanwhile, La Cibao ignored the old man's protective fury. Curious, she looked at the motionless Liu Chinviet and reached out with a chubby hand to pry the man's eyelid open. La Cibao, struggling to force his eye open, shouting innocently, "Wake up, wake up, the sun is shining on your butt." Seeing her getting more enthusiastic, Liu Jianguo was startled and quickly grabbed her tiny hand to stop her. Liu Jianguo patting her back, coaxing her gently, "Be a good girl, don't poke his eye, it will hurt. He is sick, he can't get up to play with you." Just then, the butler pushed the door open, carrying a thermos of soup. The moment he saw the girl's face, the container nearly slipped from his hands. Butler, eyes wide in shock, stammering as he pointed at the girl. Old master, this girl looks exactly like the second young master. This is a miniature version of him." Liu Jianguo's mind went boom. He suddenly remembered that 3 years ago, his second son had indeed been drugged and framed. Could it be? Was this truly Liu bloodline? Butler stepping closer, his voice trembling with excitement. "Old master, she is right here. We just need a DNA test to find out the truth, don't we?" For the longest time, Liu Jianguo had dreamed of having a soft, precious granddaughter. Unfortunately, the Liu family had only produced sons for generations. He looked at the girl with hopeful eyes. Liu Jianguo, voice trembling, stroking her silky hair, pleading softly, "Sweet granddaughter, can Grandpa have a strand of your hair?" At that moment, the girl was busy digging her fingernails into the corner of Liu Chinviet's mouth, giving it a sharp pull. A visible red mark appeared on the CEO's million-dollar face. While the girl was staring guiltily at her masterpiece, Liu Jianguo took the chance to pluck a thin strand of hair. La Cibao, startled by the sudden pain, clutching her head as tears welled up, crying out, "Wah, it hurts." Liu Jianguo and the butler, whose combined ages exceeded 100 years, immediately panicked, frantically trying to soothe her. Liu Jianguo, wincing in sympathy, rubbing her head. "Oh, there, don't cry, Grandpa is sorry." La Cibao, sobbing as she pointed at him, pouting in accusation, "Bad Grandpa, you're a bad man." The quick-witted butler hurried to scoop a spoonful of fragrant soup and held it to her mouth. La Cibao, who was mid-wail, caught the scent, and her crying stopped instantly. She sipped the delicious broth, while still sniffling. La Cibao, chewing, occasionally hiccuping with a grievance. "Mommy." Liu Jianguo felt his heart breaking. He grabbed a tissue, and carefully dabbed away the tears on her cheeks. Liu Jianguo, voice as sweet as possible, as if serving an empress baby, "Be a good girl." That baby caused Liu Jianguo to surrender completely. The little dough ball in his arms smelled of milk and felt so soft, completely different from the smelly boys at home who did nothing but fight all day. This was the granddaughter he had always longed for. Just as they were immersed in this warm atmosphere, a worried woman's voice rang out from the doorway. This 2.5-year-old girl was born with a rebellious streak. She scratched the face of her CEO father, a man who had been declared clinically hopeless and paralyzed, and yet he actually reacted to her scratching and began to wake up. Duan Ianin rushing in out of breath, her face pale with worry, bowing an apology. Hello, sir. I am so sorry. My daughter wandered off and disturbed the patient. Seeing La Si Bao nestled in someone else's arms, she reached out to take her back, but Lu Jianyuo instinctively stepped back. Lu Jianyuo holding the girl tighter, eyeing the woman suspiciously. You say she is yours? Where's the proof? Ianin quickly opened her phone's photo album to show him. Lu Jianyuo glanced at the album was full of adorable photos of the girl making funny faces. Only then did he reluctantly return the child to her mother. Lu Jianyuo unable to hide his concern and reproach, what kind of mother are you? If she truly got lost, you'd be crying your eyes out. Duan Ianin clutching La Si Bao tight, nodding gratefully. Yes, it was my negligence. I am truly grateful to you, sir. Ianin bowed several more times before heading back to the clinic. After the vaccination, the girl screamed again, and the doctor quickly gave her a lollipop to calm her down. La Si Bao took the candy and finally stopped crying. On their way out, La Si Bao's godmother, Lam Kai-ha, drove up to pick them up. Ianin sat in the back with La Si Bao. In the car, the little boss began her dramatic performance. Lam Kai-ha looking through the rearview mirror, teasing, does La Si Bao miss godmom? La Si Bao sucking her candy, pouting as she snitched on her mom. Oi. Mommy hit me. Duan Ianin helplessly flicking her daughter's forehead. You little ungrateful thing. The doctor gave you the shot, not me. By the way, why did that old man in the hospital room pull your hair? La Si Bao clutching her head at the memory, shrinking her neck hair. Oi. I cried. Grandpa gave me soup. Duan Ianin frowning, muttering in confusion. That old man looks so elegant and sophisticated, yet he has such a weird hobby. Pulling children's hair. If you keep running away from me like that, what will I do? If I can't find you, I'll be the one crying. If people bully you, I won't even know where to save you. Meanwhile, at the other end of the hospital, the Lu patriarch sat staring as the butler left with the hair sample. He ordered the emergency forensics center to be monitored personally. Lu Jianyuo thumping his cane on the floor, his voice commanding, I want results within half an hour. If this child is truly the second boy's flesh and blood, I will risk my old life to bring them home and spoil them to death. Exactly half an hour later, the butler ran back to the room breathless, completely losing his usual composed demeanor. Butler panting, holding up the results, his voice shaking with joy. Old master, we have it. When the words paternity confirmed appeared clearly on the paper, Lu Jianyuo was so emotional he nearly fainted. Lu Jianyuo, tears streaming down his face, laughing toward the sky. She is indeed Lu Jianyuo's granddaughter. Our family finally has a girl. Lu Chenviat, a raspy, deep voice, unused for a long time, suddenly sounded from the bed. What granddaughter? Lu Jianyuo spun around, unable to believe his eyes. The son, who was just a motionless lob moments ago, was now sitting up propped on his arms, frowning at them with deep, dark eyes. Lu Jianyuo stunned, dropping the paper and rushing to the bedside. Chenviat, you're awake? Lu Chenviat frowning in discomfort, rubbing his temples. What granddaughter? Dad, are you out kidnapping children again? Having just woken up to hear them shouting about a granddaughter, Lu Chenviat thought his father had finally gone insane from longing and had done something illegal. Lu Jianyuo face changing color, immediately snapping back. You brat, you just opened your eyes and you're already being disrespectful. In that moment, Lu Jianyuo almost wished his son hadn't woken up. That sharp tongue of his could truly irritate someone to death. Lu Jianyuo picking up the test results and throwing them at him. Open your eyes and see for yourself. Lu Chenviat scanning the paper, his eyes a mix of shock and suspicion. Since when do I have a daughter? Dad, I know you want a granddaughter, but don't frame me for this. Then, he froze. Wait, there was that one exception. Could it be that night? Lu Jianyuo seeing through his son's expression, sneering. What? Remember now. Why aren't you arguing anymore? Was it really that time? Was it a setup? I plucked the hair from her head myself. The butler supervised the whole testing process. Who would dare fake it? Who has the ability to fake it under my nose? At that moment, the butler rushed in with the lead physician. The doctor performed a comprehensive checkup on Lu Chenviat. Doctor checking the results, reporting with shock. Old master, the CEO's health is perfectly fine. He can be discharged immediately. This is bizarre. He has been here for 2 months in a vegetative state. Yet today, he suddenly wakes up and his vitals are as healthy as a normal person's. It's truly a miracle. Lu Jianyuo clapping and laughing heartily. Excellent. Today is a double blessing for the Lu family. Butler stepping forward respectfully. Old master, the young lady and her mother have left the hospital. I have obtained their registration info from the clinic and sent a team for an urgent investigation. Lu Jianyuo nodding with determination. Good. At all costs, we must bring my precious granddaughter home. Meanwhile, in a dilapidated rental room, the 2.5-year-old was obediently eating half a bowl of plain rice when her aunt Duan Inhu snatched the bowl away, scolding her for being a child nobody wanted. Surprisingly, the girl didn't cry. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a small whistle, and blew softly. The next second, every road within 10 miles was locked down. Dozens of armed helicopters roared across the sky, hovering over the shack. The city was stunned to realize that the little girl who got lost in the hospital was the 3-year lost treasure of the most powerful tycoon family. Her biological father personally led a fleet of armored vehicles worth hundreds of billions to her door. Back in the present timeline, Duan Nen had just brought Les Si Bao home. While Les Si Bao watched Peppa Pig on the sofa, Nen stood on the balcony, filled with anxiety. Lam Cheha lowering her voice, looking suspicious. Nen, why would that old man at the hospital pull Les Si Bao's hair? Could he be related to the man from that night? Duan Nen clutching her phone, biting her lip. I don't know, but whoever it is, no one is allowed to take Les Si Bao away from me. At age 10, Nen was adopted by the Duong family under the guise of bringing luck to their sickly son. Instead, she became the family's punching bag. 3 years ago, her adoptive mother, Fo Min Tu, and her sister, Duan Inhu, drugged her to force her onto a businessman for a contract. She escaped, and in her panic, had a one-night stand with a mysterious man. Les Si Bao was the result of that night. Nen used her design talents to work hard and raise Les Si Bao into the healthy child she was now. But the nightmare wouldn't let her go. At night, the door to the shack was violently kicked open. Duan Nen startled, pulling Les Si Bao close, glaring at the intruders. What are you doing here? Fo Min Tu, arms crossed, looking around with contempt. You little brat, think you have wings now? The Duong family raised you, and this is how you repay us? This was Fo Min Tu, Duan Inhu's mother, and the woman who took Nen from the orphanage. If Inhu was cruel, Fo Min Tu was the original source. Duan Nen is cold, enunciating every word. 3 years ago, when you drugged me, all ties between us were severed. Duan Inhu walking in, twirling a lock of hair mockingly. You think you can just cancel the debt of being raised? 2 large bodyguards stood at the door to prevent their escape. The Duan mother and daughter looked around the small room with undisguised disgust. Duan Inhu holding her nose. Duan Nen, look at yourself. What are you living for? Giving up the chance to be a wealthy lady just for a bastard child of unknown origin? Duan Nen shaking with rage, screaming, shut up, my daughter is not a bastard. Fo Min Tu sneering, oh, look at you getting all defensive. I don't have time for this. I'm here to give you good news. Mr. Vuong doesn't mind that you've had a child. He is willing to marry you, provided you don't bring this brat along. You escaped once 3 years ago, don't ruin it this time. The Mr. Vuong she mentioned was the balding, middle-aged man with a pot belly they had tried to sell her to 3 years ago. Duan Nen sneering, her gaze sharp as a knife. If the Vuong family is so great, why don't you marry into it yourself? Fo Min Tu losing patience, waving her hand. Why waste words? Take her. She ordered the guards to seize Nen. Duan Nen holding her child, backing away in a panic. What are you doing? This is kidnapping. I'll call the police. Fo Min Tu laughing arrogantly. You're legally a daughter of the Duong family. A mother bringing her daughter home, even the police can't interfere. Drag her out. As the guards lunched, Les Si Bao jumped off the sofa, clutching her plastic toy gun and pointing it at them. Les Si Bao face puffed with anger, stomping and shouting, let go of my mommy, you bad people. Little Les Si Bao didn't understand how malicious these people were. She only knew they were hurting her mother. Remembering from TV that bad guys were afraid of guns, she pulled out her toy to protect her mom. Duan Inhu mocking Les Si Bao, the little bastard grows fast, doesn't she? Too bad, you're about to become an orphan. Duan Nen pushing her daughter behind her. Leave Les Si Bao alone. If you have a problem, aim it at me. In the struggle, Inhu slapped Nen hard, knocking her to the floor. Seeing her mother hit, Les Si Bao burst into tears. Les Si Bao wailing, rushing forward to kick Inhu's leg. Bad person, don't hit my mommy. Duan Nen ignoring the pain, shouting to her daughter, Les Si Bao, don't cry, run and call godmom, I taught you the numbers. Les Si Bao tried to run, but Inhu grabbed her and slapped the child's small face. Chaos erupted in the cramped house. The 3-year-old child had just been struck. The arrogant Duong family had no idea that this slap would cost them dearly. Who would have guessed that the girl they called a bastard was the precious eldest miss of the top tycoon family, the only granddaughter after 3 generations of sons? The next second, hundreds of black bulletproof sofas surrounded the apartment complex. The second young master of the Lu family, sitting in his car, saw his daughter's swollen red face on the camera feed. His aura turned murderous. He immediately ordered kill order for that slap to La Si Bao. Break the legs of the entire Duong family. After tonight, the Duong name is to be erased from this city. Crash! The iron door was kicked off its hinges by Lu Chenviet. He saw La Si Bao crying on the ground, her fair cheek swollen with a 5-finger mark. Ian Nin was being pinned to the floor by 2 guards. Lu Chenviet voice low like the king of hell, every word sharp as a blade. Lu Chenviet's woman, Lu Chenviet's daughter, who gave you the courage to touch a single hair on their heads? Duong Ian Nhu stunned by the man's looks and aura, but still stubborn. Who are you? Mind your own business. This is a private Duong family matter. La Si Bao seeing her grandpa's friend, actually her dad, reaching out. Wah, daddy. Without a second word, Lu Chenviet stepped forward and delivered a powerful kick to Ian Nhu's stomach, sending her flying against the wall. Seeing her daughter hit, Fo Min Tu shrieked and rushed over. Fo Min Tu pointing at the guards, where you two standing there for? Kill this man. The guards let go of Ian Nin and lunged at Lu Chenviet. However, before they could even touch his sleeve, dozens of elite Lu family guards swarmed in, pinning them to the ground. Fo Min Tu still not realizing the gravity. Who are you? You should think about the consequences. The Duong family is not someone you can offend. Lu Chenviet cold laugh, utter contempt. Ha, the Duong family? What a joke. You dared to touch my people. You played your parts well. Drive this trash back to the Duong estate. Tell Duong Chin Thin I am coming for the Duong family's life. After the Duongs were dragged away like dead dogs, Ian Nin scrambled up and pulled La Si Bao into her arms. Duong Ian Nin, tears falling, kissing her daughter's swollen cheek. My sweet child, it's mommy's fault. I was useless and couldn't protect you. Lu Chenviet approaching, his voice softening as he lifted La Si Bao. Take her to the Lu Manor. I have doctors waiting. La Si Bao needed medical attention. Ian Nin bit her lip and decided that taking this opportunity to clear everything up was for the best. She nodded. When the luxury convoy entered the Lu Manor, Lu Jiangyue was already waiting anxiously on the steps, flanked by a team of doctors. Lu Jiangyue rushing to open the car door. What happened? Why is my granddaughter hurt? Inside. Now, as she stepped out, the sight of La Si Bao's swollen red face hit everyone. Lu Jiangyue trembling with rage, thumping his cane. Who dared to do this to a child of the Lu family? Knowing it happened on his watch, Lu Chenviet remained silent. Lu Jiangyue pulled his son aside, demanding details. Lu Jiangyue, eyes bloodshot, gritting his teeth. The Duong family, fine, very fine. A lowly family like the Duongs dared to touch Lu blood. Whatever pain my granddaughter suffered, I will make them pay 100,000 times over. Butler, take the elite guards to the Duong house right now. Tonight, repay every slap La Si Bao and her mother received 100-fold. While the revenge was being organized in the living room, La Si Bao was in the bedroom, crying as the doctor cleaned her wound with antiseptic. La Si Bao was struggling, tearful. It hurts. It hurts. I don't want the medicine. Lu Jiangyue rushing over, bending down to soothe her. Don't cry, precious. Grandpa is here. After the medicine, Grandpa will get you all the best treats. Lu Chenviet frowning, lifting La Si Bao to comfort her, turning to Ian Nin. I've got her. You should take her to the room to rest. Once treated, La Si Bao fell asleep on Chenviet's shoulder. He had a maid show Ian Nin and the girl to a luxury suite. When he came back down, Lu Jiangyue was waiting with his arms crossed. Lu Jiangyue narrowing his eyes. Well, do you plan on only taking the child? Lu Chenviet didn't answer, but his heart was wavering. Lu Jiangyue at his silence, he thwacked his son's leg with his cane. Are you really going to be that heartless? Lu Chenviet wincing. Dad, what was that for? Lu Jiangyue pointing at him. On hitting your lack of conscience. That woman carried the child alone, gave birth, and struggled to raise her this big. Who do you think you are to just snatch the child away? Lu Chenviet eyes darkening. She sowed the seed 3 years ago. She must accept the consequences. He still couldn't let go of the fact that he was drugged 3 years ago. His pride wouldn't allow him to move past it easily. The next morning in the Lu Manor gardens, maid panicking, carefully taking a rose from La Si Bao. Oh, little miss, you can't hold that. It has thorns, you'll get scratched. This child was the Lu family's goal. If she got a single scratch, the maid's career would be over. La Si Bao pointing at the bushes, eyes sparkling. Want flower? Want pretty flower? Maid fawning. Yes, yes, of course, I'll pick it for you. Just let me remove all the thorns first. The maid picked the best rose, meticulously removed every thorn, and presented it with both hands. La Si Bao happily took it and ran on her short legs toward Ian Nin, who was walking nearby. La Si Bao tiptoeing the hand over the flower, grinning. Mommy, flower for you. Duong Ian Nin kneeling to take it, kissing her forehead. Thank you, La Si Bao. I love you too. Lu Jiangyue watched from afar, feeling envious. He suddenly slapped Lu Chenviet's arm. Lu Jianduo envious, pointing at them. Look at that. Open your eyes. Look how sweet and filial my granddaughter is. If a useless like you had found them sooner, she'd be giving flowers to her grandpa right now. Chindiat took the hit silently. However, there was one thing he needed to fix. The girl still didn't know his true identity. Lu Chindiat leaning down, trying to be friendly. Sweetheart, come to me. I am your daddy. Duan and then encouraging her. Lassie Bao, remember this man saved us from the bad people yesterday? What should we say to him? Lassie Bao pouting, hiding behind her mom, shaking her head. No, daddy didn't want me. Duan and Nan kneeling to explain. Sweetie, daddy did not want you. It's because mommy hid you, so he couldn't find us. Ian Nin didn't want a psychological rift between them, so she took the blame to protect the father figure's image. Lassie Bao stepped out and looked up at the towering Lu Chinviet. Lassie Bao pointing at the ground, commanding bossily, sit down. Lu Chinviet, the CEO who could make the business world tremble with a glance, was being bossed around by a 2-year-old. Before he could react, Lu Jianyuo kicked the back of his knees. Lu Jianyuo bellowing, she told you to sit, so sit. Why are you just standing there like an idiot? Chinviet was forced onto one knee. Lassie Bao, startled by the sudden movement, took a step back. Lassie Bao clutching her pockets, shaking her head. I don't have any spare change for a better. The comedy of the situation made everyone in the garden burst into laughter. Lu Chinviet's face turned as black as a burnt pot. Duan Ian then stifling a laugh, pulling Lassie Bao closer. Lassie Bao, be good. This is your daddy, don't say silly things. Call him daddy. After seeing her mother nod repeatedly, the girl hesitated before finally chirping daddy. While the Lu family was experiencing warmth elsewhere, Inhu and her mother had crawled back home after their beating. Seeing Duan Qingthin, they began to wail. Duan Inhu face swollen, crying wildly. Dad. Duan Inin found a sugar daddy. She used his thugs to beat us like this. Duan Qingthin smashing his teacup, cursing rebellious brat. If the Duan family hadn't fed her for years, she would have starved on the streets, and she dares to fight back. The three of them plotted to use force to kidnap Inin and marry her off to Mr. Vuan to secure their investment. Just as they were planning, the villa doors were kicked open. A group of black-clad guards stormed in. Duan Qingthin standing up, shouting, what are you doing? Do you know where you are? Before he could finish, the Lu family butler stepped forward and slapped him so hard he saw stars, knocking him onto the sofa. Butler wiping his hands with a handkerchief, ice cold. I am hitting the animal that you are. Men, step up. The old master has ordered for every slap the little miss and the young mistress received, return them 100-fold. Do it. The guards pinned the three Duangs down and began a relentless barrage of slaps. 10 minutes later, their arrogant faces were swollen beyond recognition. The guards then withdrew, leaving Duan Qingthin groaning on the floor. Duan Qingthin, tears and snot flowing, screaming at his wife and daughter. You two tell me right now, who is the monster backing Duan Ian Nin? Duan Inhu trembling, whimpering. I heard him say his name. He said he was Lu Chinviet. Duan Qingthin hearing that name, his eyes bulged out, pale with fear, screaming in panic. What? Lu Chinviet? How could you fools be stupid enough to provoke that living Hades? Damn it, do you want to drag the entire Tang family to the grave with you? The next morning, the butler entered the room to report. Butler master, there are 3 strangers at the main gate. They claim to be Miss Tang's biological parents and sister, requesting an audience. The 3 members of the Tang family, their faces swollen and bruised beyond recognition, knelt piteously before the gates of the Lu estate. Lu Jianyuo initially intended to wave them off and set the dogs on them, but after a second thought, he sent someone upstairs to call Tang Inan down to handle her own family matters. Lu Jianyuo Inan, the Tangs are kneeling outside demanding to see you. Do you want to go out and meet them? Tang Inan with a calm gaze, nodding. I will go meet them, grandfather. It is time I made things clear and cut ties with them once and for all. The moment Tang Inan appeared at the iron gates, Fulminatu's arrogant and vicious demeanor from the night before vanished. She immediately put on the act of a kind, heartbroken mother. Fulminatu squeezing out crocodile tears, rushing to grab the bars. Inan, my dear daughter, you're finally here. Tang Inhu chiming in, sobbing and pleading. Sister, I was foolish last night. I was wrong. I shouldn't have raised a hand against you and the baby. Please, hit me, curse me, anything to vent your anger. Tang Qingthin forcing a fawning smile through his swollen face. Inan, I know you've suffered much these past years. I have strictly punished your mother and sister. Please, pack your things and come home with us. I promise I will make it up to you. Tang Inan stood with her arms crossed, watching their hypocritical performance with cold indifference. Bringing their beaten faces here to beg for forgiveness while not a single word of sincerity left their mouths only made her feel more disgusted. Tang Inan with a cold, mocking smirk. Parents? Sister? Since when did I have such noble relatives? From the night 3 years ago when you drugged me and threw me into that old man's bed, any relationship between us ceased to exist. Get out, and don't you dare show your faces here again. I am never going back to that hellhole of yours. Seeing their mask of familial love torn away, their true, ugly nature was instantly exposed. Fulminato eyes bulging, pointing at Ainan's face and cursing, you filthy brat. Don't think for a second that just because you've managed to cling to the Liu family's high branch, you can kick us to the curb. Not a chance. Just think if I tell CEO Liu that 3 years ago you were played by a random thug on the street and gave birth to a bastard, do you think Liu Chenviet would still want a piece of damaged goods like you? Liu Chenviet, a low, oppressive voice resonating from behind Tang Ainan. Oh, and what secret is it that you want to tell me? He strolled forward, hands in his pockets, and stood protectively by Ainan's side. Tang Qingthian, seeing Liu Chenviet, felt as if he had struck gold. Tang Qingthian hurrying to flatter MCO Liu. You've arrived at the perfect time. I must tell you the truth, this brat Tang Ainan isn't some virtuous woman. 3 years ago, she was promiscuous with a random man, which resulted in a fatherless bastard. She lost her purity long ago, don't let her deceive you. Liu Chenviet raising an eyebrow with a faint, chilling smile. I am already well aware of that. Is there anything more sensational that I don't know? Do tell. Fulminato gaping in shock. What? What? You already knew? Liu Chenviet, his gaze cold as ice, his words dropping like a sledgehammer. Because the random man you just insulted is me, and the bastard you keep slandering is the daughter the entire Liu clan has been longing for across generations. She is my biological daughter, the most prestigious eldest miss of the Liu family. Those indifferent words from Liu Chenviet's mouth felt like a death sentence to the Tang family. They froze on the spot, their limbs trembling uncontrollably. Tang Ainan, who collapsing to the ground, muttering in a fit of jealous madness, no, that's impossible, absolutely impossible. How could Tang Ainan be that lucky? How could she have given birth to the Liu family's heir? After the Tang family slunk away in humiliation and terror, the Liu estate finally regained its peace. Little Bao had already forgotten her earlier sadness. She was sitting happily on the rug, pushing a toy car her grandfather had just bought her. Little Bao mimicking a siren while pushing the car, beep beep beep, catching the bad guy. The car veered off course and bumped into Liu Chenviet's sleigh. The little girl looked up, her dark eyes filled with gravity. Little Bao solemnly declaring, bad caught. Don't move. Liu Chenviet raising an eyebrow, looking down at the child. And who exactly is the bad guy? Little Bao patting her father's leg. You're the bad guy, uncle. I'm the police. Beep beep, you're under arrest. With that, she gifted her father's leg a few more thumps with her chubby hands. Tang Ainan, witnessing her daughter's rebellion, felt a headache coming on. The moment the child had a backer, she started making trouble. Tang Ainan sternly, Little Bao, don't be so rude. That is your father. If you hit people again, mommy will punish you. Little Bao, sensing her mother's tone, was quick to adapt. She immediately let go of the bad guy and dove into her mother's arms, rubbing her head affectionately. Little Bao sweetly, wrapping her arms around her mother's neck. Don't scold me, mommy. I love you so much. As always, this tactic worked to melt Ainan's heart. But this time, she was determined to discipline the child. She gently pushed Little Bao back and looked her in the eye. Tang Ainan firmly, what did mommy teach you? Good girls, listen. Now, go give daddy a hug and apologize right now. Even though Liu Chenviet didn't hold a grudge against the child, Ainan insisted on teaching her basic manners. Seeing her mother refuse to hug her, Little Bao's lip trembled, and tears began to well up. Little Bao sobbing as she walked toward Liu Chenviet, grabbing his pant leg. Daddy, sorry daddy, I love you. She then proceeded to use her father's expensive trousers to wipe the tears and snot from her face. Liu Chenviet, a man with extreme germophobia, froze entirely, his face twitching. Liu Jianyuo laughing heartily from the side, patting his son's shoulder. Just endure it, son, she's your own flesh and blood. Liu Chenviet exhaled sharply, suppressing the urge to push the little weight away. He reached down and scooped her up. Instantly, Lil Bao's wet mouth planted a big kiss on his cheek, leaving a long streak of mucus on the CEO's noble skin. Liu Jianyuo hurrying to take Lil Bao from his son's arms, laughing, all right, let grandpa hold her. Go upstairs and change. Finally, someone has found a cure for your germophobia. Haha, that's my precious granddaughter for you. Liu Jianyuo turning to Ainan with excitement. Ainan, my eldest son's family is coming home this afternoon. Little Bao will have playmates. My eldest, Liu Fong, is in politics. His wife, Anhin, is a TV editor. They have 2 sons. The house is going to be lively. The next afternoon, the estate was bustling. The moment a car pulled into the courtyard, a young boy dashed inside. Lu Thilang running breathlessly, his voice echoing through the living room. Grandpa, Grandpa, where's my sister? Where's my real little sister? Liu Jianyuo quickly shushing him. Quiet, you rascal, your sister just fell asleep. Ull wake her up. Behind him were Lu Feng, An Heen, and their eldest son, Lu En Hap Pham. When An Heen saw Tang Ianen, she immediately offered a friendly smile and took her hand. An Heen gentle and elegant. Hello, you must be Ianen. I'm An Heen, the eldest daughter-in-law. This is my husband Lu Feng, and these are our boys, En Hap Pham and Feeling. We are one family now, so please, don't be a stranger. Ianen was momentarily stunned by the warm welcome from such high-ranking figures she usually only saw on TV. She awkwardly greeted each person. Meanwhile, Feeling couldn't help himself. He sneaked upstairs and slipped into the room where Lil Bao was sleeping. Lu Thilan whispering to the little flower bun curled on the bed, "You re so cute, you re my sister from now on." He leaned in to give her a kiss on the cheek. At that moment, little Bao startled awake. Seeing an unfamiliar face so close, she instinctively swung her hand slap right across Thielang's face. Lu Thilang holding his cheek, whimpering, "Sister, why did you hit me the first time we met?" "I am your big brother," little Bao tilting her head, her innocent eyes wide. "Brother? Are you really my brother?" Hearing the word brother, the pain on Thielang's cheek vanished. Excitedly, he tried to pick her up, but his strength was limited and little Bao was a bit heavy. Lu Thilang face turning red from the effort. "Sister, wait until I am a bit bigger to carry you. For now, just step on my back to get down." The boy lay flat on the floor to act as a stepping stool. Little Bao stepped on him, but lacking balance, she fell forward, pinning her brother to the ground. When Heen and Ianen pushed the door open, they were met with the sight of the two children piled on top of each other. An Heen bursting into laughter, helping them up. "What on earth are you two doing?" Little Bao let out a long sigh like a tiny old lady. "Oh, life is not easy at all." After the rowdy greetings, An Heen took out a solid gold bracelet with tiny tinkling bells as a gift for little Bao. An Heen placing it on her wrist, her eyes full of affection. "This is from your aunt. You are the only little princess of the Lu family. You deserve only the best." Little Bao happily shook her wrist to hear the clink clink. Then, remembering her appreciation for handsome men, she stared at the eldest brother, Lu En Hap Pham, who was as refined and handsome as Jay. Little Bao reaching out, demanding a hug. "Big brother is so handsome, carry me." En Hap Pham smiled and carried her to the sofa to watch Peppa Pig. However, after a short while, Phil Lang ran over demanding to change the channel to Armor Hero. An internal war for the remote erupted. Little Bao clutching the remote, starting to throw a tantrum. "No, mine, I don't like little brother anymore." Tang Ianen stepping forward, her voice stern. "Little Bao, I am counting to 3. Give the remote to your brother. If you keep acting out, I'm putting you in your room alone." Knowing her mother was truly angry, little Bao instantly dropped her stubbornness. She waddled over to hug Phil Lang's leg and whispered, "Little brother, I'm sorry, can I watch just a little bit more?" Such cuteness was impossible for Phil Lang to refuse. Ever since little Bao arrived, the Lu estate had become vibrant and full of laughter. However, storms were still on the horizon as Lu Chenviet began a silent, deep investigation into those who had harmed the mother and child 3 years ago. After the Peppa Pig fever subsided, Ianen took little Bao to the back garden for some fresh air. Tang Ianen holding her daughter's hand, gently reminding her, "Honey, don't watch too much TV, it will hurt your eyes. Come look at the trees with mommy." Once in the garden, little Bao was like a rabbit released into the wild. She wriggled out of her mother's grip and waddled toward a corner filled with vibrant roses. Ianen let her be, standing nearby to watch her while taking the chance to call her best friend, Lam Cheha. While her mother was busy chatting, little Bao found a new treasure in Anil busy with activity under a tree. She squatted down, her eyes wide, and suddenly reached out with her chubby hands to start digging enthusiastically. The freshly watered soil was damp and soft, perfect for the little girl's demolition project. Lu Thilang running over, "Curious sister, what are you doing?" Little Bao face covered in dirt, excitedly pointing at the whole brother. Digging a palace." Lu Thilang eyes sparkling with equal enthusiasm. "Wait, I'll go get the tools." A moment later, Thilang returned with 2 mini plastic shovels. The two children began digging feverishly, dirt flying everywhere. Tang Ianen just finishing her call, her eyes darkening at the sight. "Good heavens, little Bao, Thilang, what are you doing to Grandpa's garden?" Just then, Lu Jianduo and Lu En Hap Pham walked out of the house. Seeing the 2 mud monkeys toiling away, the grandfather didn't scold them. Instead, he burst into laughter. Lu Jianduo quickly pulling out his phone to record, laughing heartily. "Ah, look at that, are you two trying to dig a tunnel to Europe?" Little Bao holding up a mud-covered hand, grinning brightly. "Grandpa, look, this is my dragon palace." The commotion brought out Lu Chenviet, Lu Feng, and An Heen. As Lu Chenviet approached and saw his daughter's disheveled state, the smile on his face froze. Lu Chenviet face darkening, his voice trembling as his germophobia flared. Tang, Ian, Nin, look at your daughter. Lil Bao seeing her father, standing up to rush toward him. Daddy, carry me. Lu Chenviet instinctively took a panicked step back, but under his daughter's expectant gaze and his father's warning look, he took a deep breath. Lu Chenviet gritting his teeth, grabbing the back of Lil Bao's shirt to lift her like a piece of hazardous waste. Come on, bath time, right now. You're so dirty you belong in a washing machine. Behind them, everyone watched the proud CEO's miserable back as he carried a clump of mud into the house, unable to stop their laughter. The next morning, the entire Lu family gathered for breakfast. Tilling was still sleeping in, but Lil Bao was wide awake, sitting next to her grandfather. Lu Jianyue looking at Ainan. Kindly Ainan, after breakfast, why don't you ride with Chenviet to the office? I heard you have an interview at the Lu group today. Tang Ainan smiling politely, declining gracefully. Thank you, Mr. Lu, but I'd like to go on my own. I don't want personal relationships to interfere with company rules. I want to see what my own abilities are worth. Lu thought and Vit sipping his coffee, glancing at her with an indifferent voice. If she wants to be independent, let her. I'll tell HR to grade her fairly. Though he said this, Lu Chenviet secretly admired the woman's self-respect and grit. Finally, Violeng wandered downstairs, clutching a large meat bun. Lu Violeng shoving the bun toward Lil Bao's mouth. Sister, eat this, it's delicious. I have to go to school soon. Do you want to come with me? Lil Bao chewing curiously. What is school? Is it fun? Lu Violeng with the air of an expert. Very fun, lots of kids, lots of toys. But sometimes it's boring because the teacher makes you sit still. The goodbye between the two siblings was quite dramatic. When the maid brought Violeng's backpack to the car, the boy had a bold idea. While no one was looking, he lured Lil Bao into his giant backpack. Lu Violeng whispering, hide in here, I'll take you to school for a secret playdate. Always up for fun. Lil Bao obediently climbed in. The boy struggled to zip it up and then asked the maid to help carry it to the car, claiming the toys for my friends are very heavy. The unsuspecting maid did her best to load the unusually heavy bag into the car for the young master. At the kindergarten gate, Violeng happily asked the driver to take the bag down. As soon as he entered the classroom, he became the center of attention. Classmate Lu Violeng, where's your sister? You promised to bring her today. Lu Violeng proudly, slowly unzipping the bag. Right here. Look closely, my sister is the most super duper adorable girl in the world. The moment the zipper opened, Lil Bao's small head popped out, her eyes blinking at the crowd of children. The entire classroom exploded at the sight of the incredibly cute flower bun. Meanwhile, back at the estate, Lu Jianyue was frantically running around calling for his granddaughter. Lu Jianyue utterly panicked. Butler, where is Little Bao? She was just sitting here eating a bun. After checking the security cameras, the truth finally came out. The elder Master Lu was both furious and amused at the sight of his grandson smuggling his sister to school. Lu Jianyue shaking his head with a wry smile. That boy's feeling, he really has nerves of steel. Get the car ready, I have to go pick up our little ancestor right now. At the kindergarten, Lil Bao was thoroughly enjoying her fame. She sat in the middle of a circle of older kids, holding a crayon, her face smeared with bright colors from applying makeup to herself and her brother. Lil Bao holding a crayon, face beaming. Brother, drawing pretty like mommy. When Lu Jianyue entered the classroom, he saw his two grandchildren looking like two abstract paintings, grinning ear to ear. His anger vanished instantly. He only managed to snap a once-in-a-lifetime photo to send to the family group chat. What would be Violeng's fate after returning home, and how would Ainan's interview go? After bringing the two painted troublemakers back from kindergarten, the atmosphere at the Lu estate grew tense. Anhin had just returned from work. Upon hearing from the butler about her son's smuggling operation, her expression shifted immediately. Anhin hands on hips, eyes sharp as she looked at Violeng hiding behind a chair. Lu Violeng, stand right there. Who gave you permission to take your sister to school? Do you have any idea how dangerous that was? Lu Violeng whimpering as he ran for help. Mommy, I was wrong. It's because she's too cute and my friends didn't believe me, so Before he could finish, Anhin caught him, flipped him over her lap, and gave him a few firm swats on the rear. Violeng's loud wailing made Lil Bao, who was sitting in Lu Chenviet's lap, tremble. Lil Bao hands covering her own bottom, face pale, whispering to her father, Daddy, Auntie is tigress, so scary. Lu Chenviet stifling a laugh, hugging her tight. Shh, don't say that out loud, or your bottom will be next. Just then, Lu Chenviet's phone rang. It was a video call from T Nam Phong, his closest friend. Curious, Lil Bao grabbed the phone. T Nam Phong seeing Lil Bao's giant face on the screen, jumping in surprise. Whoa, brother Lu, is this really your daughter? She is so pretty. Why did you hide her so well? Little Bao innocently mimicking his tone. Whoa, Daddy, the uncle said. Whoa. Lu Chenviet face darkening, roaring into the phone. Tu Nam Fong, if you dare teach my daughter bad language again, I'll cut your tongue out. Get lost. He quickly hung up and looked sternly at a giggling Lil Bao. That afternoon, Ainan returned from work on a newly purchased electric scooter, looking busy but radiant. Lu Jiangyu sing Ainan, waving the family over. Since everyone is here, I have something to discuss. Lil Bao has been home for a while now. I plan to hold a grand gala to acknowledge her ancestry so the whole city knows the Lu family has a granddaughter. Furthermore, I want to officially change her name to Lu and Lak. Tang Ainan hesitating for a moment, then nodding. I agree, Master Lu. Little Bao is of Lu blood, and the name and Lak peaceful joy is beautiful. I only wish for her to have a safe and happy life. Lu Chenviet gazing deeply at Ainan, whispering thank you for understanding. In the evening, it was time for Little Bao's bath. While Ainan was struggling, Lu Chenviet walked in. Lu Chenviet rolling up his sleeves, serious. Let me help. I am her father. I should learn how to care for her. Watching the proud CEO clumsily hold a towel for the little flower bun splashing in the water, Ainan couldn't help but smile. However, the real trouble came at bedtime. Little Bao refused to sleep alone, dragging both parents into the room. Lil Bao lying between them, one hand holding her mother's and the other her father's. Mommy and Daddy, sleep with me. You have to kiss like on TV to be a real family. Tang Ainan blushing furiously, turning away. Little Bao, don't talk nonsense. Lu Chenviet suddenly leaning in, intending to kiss Little Bao's cheek just as the girl turned her head, causing his lips to brush against Ainan's. Time seemed to stop. Ainan's heart raced, and she quickly pulled the blanket over her head. Lu Chenviet froze for a moment, then cleared his throat, pushing Little Bao's demanding mouth away. Lu Chenviet, his voice slightly husky. Go to sleep, little ancestor. This is not for you. The next morning, because Ainan was busy at the design department, Lu Chenviet decided to take Little Bao to the Lu Corporation. The sight of the cold CEO carrying a child in one hand and a diaper bag in the other as he entered the lobby caused hundreds of employees to freeze like statues. Employee is stuttering. Is that CEO Lu? Is he carrying a child? Xiang Lam assistant sighing. Get used to it. That's the Lu family's little ancestor. In the CEO's office, while Lu Chenviet listened to review reports, Lil Bao sat readily on his desk, chugging milk from a bottle. Her large eyes watched the marketing director, who was trembling with nerves. Lil Bao pointing at a map. Daddy, this uncle is wrong. This part should be pink to be pretty. The room went dead silent. Instead of scolding her, Lu Chenviet stroked his daughter's head and looked coldly at the director. Did you hear that? Even my daughter thinks it's flawed. Go back and redo the report. What other hilarious chaos would Lil Bao's inspection of the Lu Group cause? After scaring the wits out of the marketing director, Lil Bao grew bored of sitting in a CEO's office. She looked at her empty milk bottle, then at the pile of papers on her father's desk, and pouted. Lil Bao tugging at Lu Chenviet's arm, whining. Daddy, I miss Mommy. I want to find Mommy. Lu Chenviet checked the clock. It was time for break. Unable to refuse those sparkling eyes, he picked her up. Lu Chenviet pinching her cheek. All right, I'll take you down to see Mommy. But you have to promise to be good and not bother her while she's working. The design department was on the 15th floor. When the doors of the CEO's private elevator opened, the entire floor went silent. Lu Chenviet, carrying Lil Bao, felt his cold expression soften as he spotted Ainan hunched over a blueprint. Lil Bao seeing her mother, cheering and waving her tiny hands. Mommy, Mommy, I'm here. Ainan looked up and was startled. Seeing her daughter and the big boss standing there, she felt incredibly embarrassed. She quickly signaled for Lil Bao to be quiet. Just then, Lan Na, the head of the design department, who prided herself on her beauty and talents, slithered over, drenched in heavy perfume. Lan Na swaying her hips, in a fawning tone. CEO Lu, what brings you all the way down here? If you have instructions, you only need to give me a call. She intentionally leaned closer to Lu Chenviet, causing Lil Bao to sneeze repeatedly from the overwhelming scent. Lu Chenviet frowning, taking a step back, his voice bone-chilling. Stay back. The smell on you is bothering my daughter. Lan Na's smile froze, and her face turned pale with embarrassment in front of all the employees. She shot a hateful glance at Lil Bao, but quickly masked it. That afternoon, Lu Chenviet took Lil Bao to a gathering of his close friends at a high-end club. In a private room, famous business moguls like Tu Nam Fong and the Fong brothers were waiting. Tu Nam Fong rushing over the moment he saw Lil Bao. Oh my god, my niece is here. Come to Uncle Tu, I have candy. Lil Bao saw a plate of chilled watermelon on the table and reached for it, but Lu Chenviet stopped her, fearing the cold would give her a stomach ache. Immediately, the little ancestor deployed her ultimate move. Little Bao letting go of her father's hand, flopping onto the carpeted floor, and rolling around. Wah, I want watermelon. Daddy is mean. Daddy won't let me eat. Tiu Nam Fong panicked, trying to pick her up. Oh dear. Don't cry, sweetheart. Uncle will get it for you. Lu Chenviet calmly pulling out his phone to record, his voice flat. Let her roll. I'm recording this to send to her mother tonight. We LLC. Who gets a timeout in the corner. Hearing the word mommy, Little Bao stopped mid-roll. She sat up, dusted off her clothes, and grinned as if nothing had happened. This lightning-fast change of heart left the group of friends speechless. During the gathering, Fong Yin gave Little Bao a high-tech tracking bracelet, while T Nam Fong handed her an unlimited black card. T Nam Fong patting his chest proudly. This is a gift from your uncle. If there's something you like, just swipe it. If your father won't give it to you, I will. Early the next morning, Lu Jianyuo excitedly took Little Bao to finalize her official household registration under the name Lu and Lak. Afterward, he took his granddaughter for a stroll at the mall. While running about, Little Bao accidentally bumped into a woman dressed in luxury brands but sporting a very sour expression. The woman looking at a coffee stain on her designer bag, screaming, "You brat, do you have any idea how much this bag costs? You uneducated country folk don't know how to raise children." Lu Jianyuo pulling Little Bao into his arms, his gaze sharp. Who are you calling country folk? I'll pay for whatever it costs. The woman contemptuously. 250,000 for the outfit, 1 million for the bag. Can an old man like you afford that? Without a word, Lu Jianyuo pulled out a checkbook, wrote a check for 1.5 million, and threw it at her face. Lu Jianyuo sternly, "There's your money. Now apologize to my granddaughter immediately for your disgusting attitude." Seeing the international bank check, the woman turned white as a sheet, mumbled an apology, and fled, leaving behind a small boy who was standing there in a daze. The boy was Ngak Mokfan, a child with autism and the son of Ngak Fan Yen. Seeing the boy abandoned, Lu Jianyuo took both children to the police station to find his family. At the station, Little Bao, usually the queen at home, was so scared of the police that she hid inside her grandfather's coat. Little Bao whimpering, "Grandpa, police, they going to catch me." Only when a gentle policewoman offered a lollipop did she dare show her face. It was here that fate led Lu Jianyuo to run into an old acquaintance, Ngak Fan Yen. It turned out the Ngak family was facing a crisis. His wife, Konan Sin, was in a vegetative state, and his son, Mokfan, was severely depressed. Strangely, Mokfan, who never spoke, reached out and took Little Bao's hand the moment they met. The bond between the little star Forkin and the Ngak family began there. After resolving the trouble at the police station, Lu Jianyuo brought Little Bao home, still marveling at the coincidence with the Ngak family. However, the top priority now was the official debut gala for his precious granddaughter. Meanwhile, at the Ngak residence, after picking up Mokfan from the police, Ngak Fan Yen's face was as cold as frost. Outside the door, his wife's younger sister, the one who had cruelly abandoned Mokfan on the street, was frantically begging for an audience. Ngak Fan Yen, sitting in an armchair, an aura of killing intent filling the air, cold voice let her in. The sister-in-law crying piteously upon entering, faking remorse. "Brother-in-law, I was wrong. I was just distracted for a moment while paying, and when I turned around, Mokfan was gone. I looked everywhere." Ngak Fan Yen smirking coldly, his eyes full of contempt. "Distracted? Do you think I am an idiot? You wear my wife's clothes, carry my wife's bag, yet you throw my son onto the street? Guards, strip her of everything she's wearing that doesn't belong to her and throw her out. From this day forward, she is banned from high society." That weekend, the Lu estate was ablaze with lights and lined with luxury cars. This was the day the Lu family officially introduced their little princess, Lu and Lak. Tang Yin wearing an elegant evening gown, but still looking anxious, clutching Lu Chenviet's hand. "See you, Lu. I mean, Chenviet. With so many people, I'm afraid Little Bao will get fussy." Lu Chenviet taking her hand, his gaze full of reassuring affection. "Don't worry, I'm here. You look beautiful tonight." Meanwhile, the main character, Little Bao, was surrounded by her uncles in the living room. T Nam Fong excitedly holding a massive gift box. "Little Bao, look what Uncle T got for you. It has a whole collection of limited edition dolls." Little Bao, eyes sparkling but maintaining a classy air as she hugged his neck. "Thank you, Uncle T. You're the best." The party began. Lu Jianyuo carried Little Bao onto the main stage, his voice booming with pride. "Today, our Lu family officially welcomes home our direct granddaughter Lu and Lak. Anyone who dares touch her is an enemy of the entire Lu group." Below the stage, the other children of the wealthy elite were also curious about the new little girl. Cao Jiadong, the son of the Cao family, a stout and mischievous boy, was playing evil catches the chick with Luke Thurlang. Cao Jiadong relying on his eyes to push Luke Thurlang down. "The mother hen is down. Now I am going to catch the little chick." Lak Bao, seeing her little brother being bullied, Lak Bao's heroic spirit surged instantly. Without a second word, she lunged forward, grabbed Cao Jiadong's hair, and yanked him backward. She then climbed atop him, sitting squarely on his chest as her small hands went smack against his face. Lak Bao shouting while hitting stop bullying my brother. Beat up the bad guy. Cao Jia Dong turning from an evil into a helpless chick, wailing wow. Grandpa, save me. This little girl is terrifying. Luke King Kwok and the Cao family patriarch rushed over, only to find the scene both hilarious and exasperating. Even after her grandfather picked her up, Lak Bao remained indignant. However, once it was explained that it was just a game, she immediately looked overcome with guilt. Lak Bao sliding down from her grandfather's arms and waddling over to pat Jia Dong's head. Big brother, I am sorry. I thought you were hitting my little brother. Let me rub it to make the pain go away. Lak Bao's innocence and her fierce protective streak toward her family left the powerful elders in awe. A few days later, at the invitation of Ngok Fan Yen, the Luke family took Lak Bao to visit the Ngok residence. As soon as she saw Ngok Mokthan, Lak Bao ran over and grabbed his hand. Lak Bao excitedly showing off her new puppy brother Mokthan. Look, this is my little sibling, Tuai. Do you want to be its daddy? Ngok Mokthan, his usually gloomy eyes suddenly sparked with light as he nodded slightly. Okay, I'll be the daddy. Ngok Fan Yen and his wife, Ko Nam Sin, who had partially regained consciousness thanks to Lak Bao's previous visit, stood nearby, deeply moved. Lak Bao then sneakily led Mokthan into Ko Nam Sin's sick room. Lak Bao climbing onto the bed and gently placing her small hand on Ko Nam Sin's auntie. Yuri is beautiful as a fairy. Please don't sleep anymore, brother. Mokthan misses you so much. I'll give you a candy. She pulled out her most precious lollipop and tried to pry her aunt's mouth open to stuff it in. Miraculously, Ko Nam Sin's fingers twitched slightly and her eyes slowly opened to see the chubby little girl giggling in front of her. Ko Nam Sin, voice faint and trembling with emotion. Thank you, little one. Standing at the door witnessing this, Ngok Fan Yen, a man of steel who never shed a tear, began to sob like a child. The miracle of the little lucky star Lak Bao had once again revived the family. After the busy days in the city, Luke Thurlang's maternal grandmother Wen Heen's mother called to invite the family to the countryside to pick persimmons. The moment she heard the word eat, Lak Bao's ears practically perked up. Luke Thurlang running around Lak Bao, advertising with a proud-faced sister. Grandma's house has a huge persimmon orchard. There are also puppies and a big boss goose. I'll take you to pick persimmons when we get there. Lak Bao, eyes shining like stars, hands gripping her brother's shirt as she bounced up and down. Go. I want to go pick persimmons. I want to play with my little brother. Duan and Nin intended to decline, fearing the child would bother her sister-in-law, but both Wen Heen and Nin Fam insisted on taking her. Thus, the car carrying the tiny army set off for the peaceful countryside. Upon arrival, the fresh air and the sound of barking dogs sent Lak Bao into a state of extreme excitement. Grandmother Wen leaning down to hug the little dough ball, smiling kindly. Oh, whose beautiful, chubby granddaughter is this? Let grandma give you a squeeze. Lak Bao, not shy at all, wrapping her arms around the grandmother's neck and giving her a loud kiss. Beautiful grandma, I am Lak Bao. After lunch, Luke and Fam led the two children to the garden to pick vegetables. Lak Bao spotted some pure white geese stretching their long necks and honking loudly. Curious, she approached them. A fierce-lead goose, seeing a stranger, craned its neck and nipped at her plump hand. Lak Bao, startled by the sharp pain, looking at her reddened hand, her mouth puckering before bursting into loud sobs. Wow, mean goose, daddy, mommy, the goose bit me, it hurts so much. Luke and Fam panicked, scooping her up and lightly kicking the goose away. There, don't cry. Big brother will punish it for you. Lak Bao wiping her tears, pointing at the goose with a face full of childish murderous intent. I want to hit it. I want to eat it. We have to cook this goose for me for lunch. And so, less than 2 hours later, the poor goose boss turned into a fragrant pot of braised goose on the dining table. Lak Bao gnawed on a goose drumstick, her face filled with the immense satisfaction of a debt repaid. In the afternoon, the family went up the mountain. Ripe, golden persimmons hung heavily from the branches. Lak Bao sitting at the base of a tree, clutching 2 large persimmons, her mouth covered in sweet juice. So sweet. Little brother, pick more for me. When it was time to leave, Lak Bao sneakily hugged one of the grandmother's puppies, intending to take it home. The mother dog, Dai Hon, chased the car barking frantically, leaving the family caught between laughter and tears. Eventually, Wen Heen had to promise to buy her a new puppy before Lak Bao would return the hostage to its mother. Returning to the Luke residence, Lak Bao had a new friend, the puppy Tuai. She took on the role of a young mother, Bao feeding the puppy daily, though she occasionally drank the puppy's milk by mistake, forcing Luke King Kwok to keep a very close watch. During one dinner, Luke Fong jokingly remarked. Luke Fong watching Lak Bao and Mokthan playing, an idea striking him. Maybe we should arrange a betrothal for these two. They look so good together. Luke King Kwok Luke then Viet shouting in unison, eyes fixed on Luke Fong with murderous intent. Shut your mouth. She is still a baby. Who gave you permission to think about marrying her off? Luke Fong ducked his head to eat, terrified, thinking to himself, I forgot, my niece is the family treasure. Mentioning marriage is like poking a hornet's nest. A few days later, Duong Ian Nan had a minor accident while inspecting a construction site in the rain. Her electric scooter overturned in a remote ditch. Upon receiving the news, Luke Van Viet's heart burned with anxiety as he personally led the search party. Luke Van Viet seeing Ian Nan shivering in the ditch, he lunged down and swept her up, his voice trembling with fear. Duong Ian Nan, are you okay? Don't be afraid, I am here now. At the hospital, Luke Van Viet stayed by her bedside all night. At home, Lac Bao cried for her mother, eventually forcing Van Viet to use a pity tactic to get Ian Nan to let him sleep in the hospital room. That night, sharing a small bed, the warmth and trust between them finally began to erase the distance of the past 3 years. The story reached a climax when Lac Bao went to the Ngok house to play. There, 3 arrogant rich kids from the neighborhood saw that Mok Thin didn't speak and began to mock him. Bully child pointing at Lac Bao, hey, fatty, hand over that dog, and you, mute boy, get out of here. Lac Bao face flushed with rage, hands on her hips, I am not fat, I am adorable, and how dare you insult brother Mok Thin, I'll beat you up. Without fear, Lac Bao charged into a great war against the 3 older children. Seeing his sister pushed down, the usually silent Ngok, Mok Thin let out a loud shout and lunged forward to protect her. The parents of the bullies heard the crying and rushed over, intending to use their influence to pressure the Ngok family. Little did they know, they had just touched the reverse scales of the most powerful tycoons in the city. Luke Van Viet, Team Nam Phong, and Phong Yin appeared on the scene simultaneously with a massive entourage of bodyguards. Team Nam Phong seeing the bruise on Lac Bao's arm, laughing coldly. The Vuong family, the Tribe family, the family, very well, you dare let your children hit my niece? After today, prepare for bankruptcy. The parents turned pale as ghosts the moment they saw the lineup of powerhouses. They knelt and kowbowed, apologizing profusely, but it was far too late. Returning to the manor, the family gathered together. Ko Nam Sin Mok Thin's mother had fully recovered and was healthy again thanks to Lac Bao's constant encouragement. Ngok Mok Thin also gradually emerged from his shell, becoming a warm boy who followed and protected Lac Bao like a shadow. Luke King Kwok watching the family together, eyes welling with tears. Lac Bao truly is our family's little lucky star. With her, the Luke family is finally whole. Lac Bao nestled in the arms of her father Van Viet and mother Ian Nan, lollipop in hand, eyes crinkled in a smile. I love my family most in the whole world. Under the sunset, the laughter of the 2.5-year-old girl echoed throughout the manor, closing a chapter on family, redemption, and the miracle of a priceless little ancestor.